Cinema Classics is produced by John DeSando and Johnny DiLoretto. Listen to the full shows online at WCBE.org. I'm Johnny DiLoretto.
I'm John DeSando.
This is Cinema Classics. Timing is a bit off. Our timing is
Don't
a bit
be
off.
afraid.
So we were going to do this look back at our favorite horror films in time for Halloween, but it turns out we're about a week off. But listen, that's stupid to adhere to that.
Right, of course.
Horror movies come out all year long.
Yeah.
We watch them all year long.
Yeah.
So let's talk about some of our favorites.
Okay.
What do you got?
My favorite, maybe your favorite, Shining.
Love it.
All right.
Love it. Especially, we're staring down the barrel of Dr. Sleep coming out.
Yes.
The sequel. And I just don't even know how you do this. Like, how do you... It's interesting because Stephen King hates The Shining. He hates Kubrick's adaptation.
Yes.
Which goes to show you what kind of taste Stephen King has. That's a great movie. And I'm sure the changes he made bothered Stephen King.
Oh, yes.
But you can't deny the sort of cultural, headlock The Shining has on us. And so when this guy goes to make the sequel, Dr. Sleep, he kind of has to skirt both.
How do you do that? I know it.
He's going to pull in a little bit of the original and a little bit of the book.
All right.
Whatever.
Now tell me this.
Yeah.
And we'll move on very quickly. But you quickly tell me, what makes The Shining our favorite horror film?
Let's see. Well, first of all, I didn't say it was my favorite.
No, you didn't. All right, okay.
I'm just agreeing that it's up there.
Okay.
What I love about The Shining is the pacing, the set design.
Yeah, the hotel, there's no other hotel like that.
Oh my God, it's great.
Yeah.
You feel like you're in there. You feel like it's like the horror equivalent of Rick's Cafe, the Overlook Hotel. It's such a definitive space.
Good, that's nice.
I love all the performances. I think Nicholson's performance, for a while there, we kind of laughed at it as being hammy, but I think if you look at it now, these many years later, it's a great performance. It's frightening.
Yeah.
He does convincingly sort of, devolve into...
Well, I think that's the horror for me, is that he's, like, he could be an ordinary guy.
Yeah.
And he devolves.
Yeah.
That's where when it gets closest to home for me is when it gets the scariest.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, and there's, really, these days, there's a lot of resonance to that domestic situation kind of going south like that.
Yeah.
I also have a theory. The last time I watched it, I feel like the father, Jack Nicholson's character, also has The Shining. And I feel like why he goes crazy, he's seeing all the same things that Danny is seeing, and Doc Halloran, and I feel like he is ill-equipped to deal with it, and that's what drives him mad.
All right, give me your favorite after this.
The Thing, John Carpenter's The Thing.
Okay,
I love
that's
that
pretty
movie.
Classic.
It's just a taut little psychological thriller with these outrageous practical effects.
Yeah.
I love it. There is no The Thing creature. Like, there's no creature design because it takes different forms. And the imaginative sort of iterations of this thing, I just delight in them.
It's a great example because I think it's a companion piece in a completely different way from Alien in 1979, where it's manifest. Mm-hmm. This ugly creature coming out of us.
Right.
And you're talking about imagination and this is talking about visually.
An Alien, just a few years before, right? Set in space, with them being picked off one by one.
Oh, yes.
Right? Out in space, in a confined space. Here, John Carpenter takes the concept, puts them down in the Arctic, on Earth.
Oh, right.
And then has this thing sort of infect us. You get into that infection, body horror stuff,
All right, another one for me.
Yeah.
Exorcist.
Yeah, got me. Come on. It's the best.
It is.
That movie disturbed me so much as a child. Like, it's haunted me for years. And, by the way, it's better than the book.
Well, this came out in 1973. I had already graduated from college in Georgetown.
Yeah.
And the famous steps.
Yes.
I took more than one young lady down those steps. And I look back, as I say, the thing that catches me is always when it's very personal.
Uh-huh.
Well, man, I walked down those steps to M Street numerous times. So to see him flipped over those is really cool.
Right.
And it gets close.
Right.
Give me another one.
I love American Werewolf in London.
Okay, good one.
It's a beautiful,
Yeah.
perfect blend of comedy and horror.
Yeah.
Again, the practical effects are astounding. His transformation scene really gives you, excuse me, his transformation scene really gives you a sense of what it might be like to actually turn into a werewolf.
Yeah.
And it would not be fun.
Great example. Now, for me, I guess in a different way, 1991's The Silence of the Lambs is a great horror film, and that's because he's so quotable. He, much of what Hannibal Lecter does is through language, and rather than, as you were talking about, not having the object.
Right.
The object.
What a great way to look at the power of language.
Oh,
because he's orchestrating all of that with words.
I know he is.
And it's interesting because, it is just fantastical enough, but it's rooted in this real horror of serial killers among us.
Well, talking about not real but real. Jaws.
God. Yeah, I don't even think that's a horror movie.
Yeah, okay, it's
arguable. It's an adventure with some horror elements.
Yeah. Okay.
I got one for you.
All right.
The Island of Lost Souls. Going way back. I feel we got to throw a real classic in.
Okay,
here. I don't want to lean on the Universal monsters, so I'm going to go with The Island of Lost Souls.
Okay.
Which is one of the first adaptations of H.G. Wells' The Island of Dr. Moreau.
Oh, okay.
It's got Charles Laughton.
Okay.
And I got to tell you, it is still a very creepy movie.
Yeah, very good.
It's fun because of the concept of mad scientists breeding animal humans on this little island. The makeup effects are just weird and off, and they're still a little unsettling. And then there's this sexy woman, the Panther Woman, and that kind of gets weird.
Well, so all the examples we've had so far, in many cases, they are of the mind rather than of some kind of monster. There are people who would say Psycho's a horror film. I'm trying to think.
Oh, of course, it's probably the grandfather of all contemporary horror movies.
Blair Witch Project.
Yeah.
Nothing. We don't see.
You don't see
no
anything.
monster.
It's all tonal.
Yeah.
And smoke and mirrors. I do remember seeing it and being very creeped out by it.
Yeah.
I've never returned to it. I don't really. Yeah. There's not a whole lot of thrills to revisit there.
Yeah. Well, we could look at it if only because it's the beginning of that found footage thing.
Yeah. No, for sure. It really kind of opened the floodgates on that whole thing. They're still doing those found footage things, and it always bothers me. There's something fundamentally non-cinematic about found footage, but I know that that will ruffle some feathers because it's been done properly several times, but only a handful.
Well, I think with that our audience is well prepared for Dr. Sleep.
Yeah, if they haven't gone to sleep already.